What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
It was a cheer that was so audible that jealousy could not be concealed. Datta was the target of frightened looks from Shion and Shuna as well. They displayed a strong sense of envy.
Are you sure? After all, you're not even capable of using honorifics. I've chosen to identify it as your privilege now because I'm worried you're going to mess it up badly someday.
Although I could also sense Datta's regard, his tone of voice was not at all pleasant. Even though I always encourage casual conversation, it seems to be extremely challenging. In such circumstances, Datta's informal conversational manner has frequently drawn criticism. Since it would have an impact on my public image, they urged me to take action. That being a hassle, I chose to acknowledge it as a privilege. Numerous foreign guests, including Fobio and Jane-san, attended this celebration. The notion was that Datta's issue would be resolved by this publicity. Well, I suppose there are plenty of other bothersome issues to consider, like looks and power, but we, as monsters, did not require such a formal procedure. I would merely carry out my desires. What matters most is on the inside, not what is visible on the outside. A prime example is Datta. Despite his offensive tone, he was very loyal. His eyes revealed it to me. Datta appeared to be ready to die for me, judging by the expression in his eyes. This is his privilege, because of that.
I'm grateful.
Datta grinned broadly and bent at a 90-degree angle. He was ecstatic. He may have been attempting to adjust his vocal tone, but it had done absolutely nothing. I'm glad for Datta that he received the highest award possible. It was quite challenging to come up with appropriate rewards. There was Geld following Datta.
Geld, you may now refer to yourself as the Barrier Lord.
I, Geld, accept this honor. I'll do my best to live up to the title of Barrier Lord.
Geld gave a robust response. I quietly relayed my word to Geld amidst the boisterous applause.
As I did with Benimaru, I will try to perform the same evolutionary ritual on you.
What exactly is that?
I set up a telepathy net with those who would receive souls so I wouldn't have to explain it every time. Then I told everyone about the evolutionary rite. I also recalled to combine thought acceleration with telepathy net at this point. This would allow us to have a crucial conversation in just a few seconds of actual time. Geld answered after a brief explanation.
Although I appreciate the offer, I believe another person is more deserving of this gift. The Inspector General, Carrera Dono, has played a significant role in this conflict. Please let Carrera Dono accept the reward in place of me if she meets the requirements as well.
Turning down the power of a soul's awakening? This time, I had no intention of having Carrera evolve. Carrera was without a doubt a big player, but even though she was already very dangerous at this point, I did not want her to become too powerful and lose control. I wanted to hold off on evolving Carrera in the interim, opting to promote the oldest and most dependable subordinates since I needed to adopt a wait-and-see mentality. Despite my explanation, Geld continued to hesitate.
But I'm also.
Geld was thus concerned. He was concerned he might become uncontrollably powerful. Maybe he was still attempting to make things right. Atonement for the enormous catastrophe that his rage at the moment in the Great Jura Forest had wrought. He was tightly controlling himself because he was the one who had to take responsibility. He gazed at me with resolve, his eyes glistening with purpose. That's why I responded to him.
Don't be alarmed, Geld. Geld, the orc disaster, may have gone insane, but wasn't it for the benefit of his friends?
Geld would maintain control. He could control any power he attained if he had that much resolve. And, because of earlier occurrences, nobody was left to criticize Geld.
You still feel accountable, but I still have faith in you, and I have no doubt that you'll defend us all with your newly acquired strength.
His staff will also get a gift when Geld evolves. As a result, our nation will have a solid defense. Geld's eyes lit up when I mentioned this.
I respectfully accept if that's the case.
He concurred. As to be anticipated of Geld, a person who works for his community's welfare rather than his own. Except for Geld, no one else objected, by the way. Some of them appeared to be nervous, but I thought their hopes outweighed their worries. Although it was my mistake for not asking them about their plans in advance, momentum was crucial in this situation. I felt relieved that everyone had accepted the plan. I turned off the telepathy net and carried on with the festivities.
Your work is simply exceptional. I will reward you with this.
I then gave Shuna a signal. Shuna smiled and handed Geld a package of tools she had packed. I had won this combat, and I had armor and a shield of legendary quality, which I had altered myself with Garm's help. Only Geld was able to use it because it only responded to his grotesque aura. The idea was the same as the Holy Spirit armor, which not even Garm could duplicate. The degree of development of the armor itself is what distinguishes mythical grade armor from legendary grade. Over a long time, the weapons themselves evolved. The process of evolution varied from one to the next, and the amount of time needed varied according to the ingredients. Furthermore, it was asserted that if the owner was more advanced, evolution would proceed at a much faster rate. Given that Geld specialized in defense, I anticipated that even legendary grade gear would eventually have a defensive capability on par with mythical grade gear. On the other hand, Geld had a good chance of receiving a gift as a result of his evolution, according to Wisdom King Raphael-san. I have no doubt that it would pass for mythical. He would be considerably better protected if that occurred. Geld bowed to me and reverently took his reward.
Question. Will you evolve the individual Geld using the allotted 100,000 souls? Yes, no.
Yes, after completing this, I yelled to Geld.
All these years, you have been punishing yourself. You should take some time to relax and consider what you want to do for yourself at this time.
Geld will continue to actively participate in the building of the city in addition to participating in fights. He has put in a lot of effort his entire life and rarely takes a restful break. He was most likely the nation's toughest worker. I hoped he would utilize this chance to get some rest.
Yes, I'm very grateful for this joy, thank you.
Geld responded with a cheerful grin. Then he casually walked back over to the line, as if trying to shake off the Demon Lord's evolutionary slumber brought on by the Harvest Festival. How did he get through that drowsiness? I gave the next person my full attention since I was so amazed. Gabble. He had commanded the 3rd Corps during a skillful aerial combat. He gave me a real smile and glanced down when I congratulated him.
It wasn't sufficient. I feel bad about my lack of ability.
In all honesty, Gabble thoroughly earned it. Nobody could replicate the idea of engaging in mystical endurance training while a battle is in progress. Or, more accurately, it's not that I can't replicate it. Rather, it's that I wouldn't want to. After the war, Ultima gave me a thorough report, and I was horrified by how foolish they had been. She even suggested that Gabble-san be disciplined. I had no idea when he had developed into such a bastardly experimenter. But as a result, it appears that Gabble and his team have unlocked the dragon body intrinsic skill of Dragonew. This time, I would resist becoming upset and have a huge heart. In addition, there were more pressing matters at hand. I also talked to Gabble while on telepathy net. Since it would be ineffective to correct him in front of everyone, the conversation was kept private.
I'll talk more about the tests conducted throughout the war later, but for now, consider this. Ultima has an idea. You can learn to manage your magicules from her if you want to.
What exactly did you say?
Dealing with magicules is as natural to the demon kind as breathing. You guys should get along with her and seek her for advice because she is willing to look after you.
It's possible that the only way I can make him feel better is if I punish him, but Ultima would treat him better. As you are aware, Ultima would know how to be understanding and only experience minor suffering before they could consider themselves. That was a choice I made.
We still lack experience. I, Gabble, appreciate you providing us with the chance to develop further. We will work hard to live up to Rimuru-sama's standards so that we can all master the dragon body.
Surprisingly, the reaction was good. They appear to have been ready for it. Gabble lamented the times when Datta used to beat him. His silly demeanor had considerably subsided by this point. He had developed the dignity of a warlord and had learnt to read the environment. He acknowledged that he still had a ways to go, but it appears that he had some positive traits to begin with, and through the heartbreaking losses and his interactions with Vesta and other people, he had developed a reflective outlook. He was now a trustworthy individual. Gabble's life experiences have aided in his development. I could therefore give him power.
I'll make you powerful. Use it wisely and awaken as the Draco Lord.
I delivered the souls to Gabble and pushed him to evolve. Gabble underwent a rapid evolution, unlike Geld. His body was filled with flaming magicules, and his blackish-purple scales changed to reddish-purple. However, Gabble handled the situation excellently. He merely maintained his consciousness while maintaining self-control. The experiment had paid off and had not been in vain.
Woo, I feel energized and strong. I'm grateful, Rimuru-sama. I'm going to start referring to myself as Draco Lord today. I'll make the most of this power for the benefit of Rimuru-sama and our nation.
Gabble burned himself with a purple lightning bolt that was discharged from his flesh. Gabble's body, however, started to recover and get stronger right away. It appears to have been a success. Gabble now had a lovely horn growing from his forehead, possibly because I urged him to refer to himself as a lord. Even if he was a little arrogant, Gabble was incredibly handsome and well-fitted. But it didn't matter. Both in terms of dignity and power, it was a great evolution. Gabble became the Draco Lord as a result. However, it appears that each person's journey toward becoming a true demon lord is unique. In the midst of my own uncontrollable deep sleep, Geld was doing his best to stay awake. Benimaru required more conditions. Gabble completed everything in a split second, without even dozing off.
Gabble-sama, I'm feeling energized as well.
Indeed.
Me too. The best is Gabble-sama.
From the corner where the third core was positioned, such voices could be heard. It was the 100-member Hear You group. Members of the Blue Numbers who were Lizardmen also appeared to be receiving gifts. All 3,000 of them had transformed into Dragonewts. The Hear You had successfully over the A rank threshold and had developed sufficient fighting skills to be referred to as a mid-level Majin. It appeared as though their dragon body had returned to normal and the skill itself had vanished. They also looked to have lost the dragon scaling skill, which turned the skin into dragon scales, and instead acquired the dragon skin skill. Ultima would handle the power control, but there was a difficulty with the just learned skill. It absorbed the ambient magicules and encased the body in self-healing armor. Although it had a similar concept to body armor, its defense was significantly greater. Because it could regenerate even minor scratches, it was incredibly affordable and did not need any protective equipment. Additionally, the skill's power varied from person to person and rose in direct proportion to the user's strength. I was shocked to see that, for instance, Gabble's dragonskin protection had increased in power to a quite mythical level. Naturally, the attack likewise reflected that level of flawless defense. It would not be an exaggeration to suggest that they were distinct from other Dragonewts, despite the fact that they were still Dragonewts in terms of their race. The fact that they could not ultimately become human was irrelevant because it was a matter of individual will. The others followed after that. Surprisingly, the development of Gabble had an impact on Soka and the others as well. These Dragonewts were humanoid in appearance. Their protection was inadequate because they were still in human form. Their assault power and speed, however, had significantly risen. These Dragonewts were distinct from Gabble's group in that they held the same skill as dragon body, but they continued to have human faces once they transformed. Although it appears that a dragon's scales and wings can be added to or removed at will, after the transition, they seem to change into Majin with a dragon motif. Despite belonging to the same species as Gabble and the others, they appeared to have evolved along very separate routes.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. Shout out to the new members of AnimeKouhai supporters: Jared Bressler, Judah Herrera, Pieter Midlowski, Theodore Sanchez, Oscar Jacobson, Pakor Nuntaari, Ara Dare, Mam Wang Min, Maran Dehan, Vasto Lord, Nobody0034. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.